The U.S. government is selling its Bitcoin, and an AI expert warns everyone on Earth will die. This is Around the Blockchain. Welcome to Around the Blockchain. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. We got some great guests on today. It is a special Friday episode. We're going to get right into it. On the top left, we have Crypto Crusader on. You can catch him at Debate Crypto OG. Crusader, how are you feeling today?
Feeling excited, man. Thank you for having me.
All right. Love having you on. Also, we have Cassius Cuvee. In fact, I was looking at the editors editing some of your music videos today. What's your next crypto song going to be called?
I got one for Ben's book called Catching Up to Crypto, Tell the History of Crypto. Match the book.
All right. Love to see it. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Also, we have Hotep Jesus. You're going to want to check out his last night's stream with Uncle Hotep, I believe it was. Hotep, any insights from that stream you could share today?
All I can say is that it's a good time and absolutely hilarious. If you need a good laugh, lighthearted fun, go listen to Hotep's Been Told You.
You're definitely going to want to do that. And then to round it up, we have Crypto Face coming in fresh from a live stream with Gareth Soloway. They talk about crypto. They talk about gold. They talk about your favorite S coins. Crypto Face, did he change your mind on anything?
Not really. But it was a good little kind of a quickie, but we got to what I wanted to talk about, and so it's a good time.
He changed my mind on the viability of pony knots, and you know what? Who knows? Maybe I'll start growing it out. All right. Well, we're actually gonna lead with a little bit of chart news, and maybe Crypto Face, you might be able to give us some insight on this. This right before we went live, AJ writes crypto. He yelled out, "XRP just started pumping." I looked at the 7-day chart. I said, whoa, it's actually still going up. I said, he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. When I clicked that 1 day, yeah, this is just an insane candle coming out from nowhere. Crypto Face, now removing your opinions on XRP and the XRP community, set that aside. What is going on this is quite the big pump, and it looks like we're about to pass the resistance from yesterday. I'm looking at the 7-day. I mean, I know we're going to have a lot of pullback around 57 cents, but what is going on in the past 5-15 minutes? I'm seeing a huge pump.
Yeah. First off, I don't have any ill feelings to the XRP community or anything, so don't project your own feelings on me or your own assumptions.
Hey, I have a small bag since 2019 or something.
Yeah, Ripple was actually the very, very first crypto besides Bitcoin that I heard about. A buddy of mine bought some when, man, I don't remember how cheap it was. It was like 0.02 or something like that. So hopefully he's been holding on to it. But yeah, I'm just taking a look at like Ripple on the weekly. I don't got to pull up a chart or nothing, but man, money flows looking pretty decent. It's got a nice little curvature momentum. It's going through a little fight right now. RSIs are a little split apart, but kind of going to the upside. So certainly prone for the Ripple community's been waiting for a long time. And so I'm happy for them that they got a real pump, a 50%er, so I'm happy for Ripple. Looks like they got some money coming in on the weekly. Yeah, I'm saying we'll see if
well, Crypto Face, while I have you on, we're going to segue into Bitcoin. We have the U.S. government selling a lot of Bitcoin. It looks like on the 14th, they sold close to 10K, and over the rest of the year, they plan on selling 40K. They did a market dump March 9th. They dumped it all on Coinbase, I'm sorry. And then it appears on Coinbase. It sat there for about 5 days. And then they sold it all on the 14th. 9,861 Bitcoin. It was over $200 million. We didn't see much of a move. We actually saw a move to the upside.
That's
right. Bitcoin matured to the point where you could sell $250 million and it doesn't create a giant red candle?
Yeah, man, I guess that's how that's how it is right now. Man, when I heard about that, I looked right at the charts and I was like, how did the market react? And it looks like they just sold into green. So it's, that's pretty bullish. That's no joke. That's a lot of Bitcoin. We've moved the market with a lot less, a while ago. So I don't know, man. That's pretty bullish for Bitcoin. So,
and who's also bullish? Justin Sun was bullish. He offered to buy it at a 10% discount, according to Watcher Guru. You gotta watch that Justin Sun guy. Well, Hotep,
I like him. Just you do
I do
watch
like
him.
Justin. I do. Yeah, he's the best ETH trader He's a lot better ETH trader than I am. All right. Well, Hotep, I'm looking. They seized about 50,000 Bitcoin in November from James Zong. This was a wire fraud connected with the Silk Road marketplace. He was siphoning off little bitties here and there for a long period. But I want to ask you about the U.S. government selling the remaining 40,000 Bitcoin. In total, they have over 200K. So, we're still selling about 25% of what they have left. Looking back 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, is the U.S. government going to be kicking themselves in the you-know-what and mad at themselves for selling that 40K? Or is this, to protect the dollar and it's the best decision they should make?
Everything the United States government does is on a need-to-know basis. Just because you think they have that amount of Bitcoin does not mean that that's the exact amount that they have.
I think it's much more, too, for what it's worth.
That's what they told you that they have.
CIA is probably the biggest holder.
So we understand they're hedging bets in many different ways. One thing I want to touch on is the Ripple situation. The Ripple situation, I used to call them the Illuminati coin because I was doing some research on some of the deals they were working on, and they seem to be very much in favor of doing things in favor of the institutions. If you look at the news, was it last week or the week before the announcement of the FedNow? Well, guess who is included into that FedNow protocol? Yes, none other than XRP Ripple. So they are definitely on board with the establishment. Whether you consider that to be right, wrong, moral, immoral, that's on you. I don't really want to weigh in on that. But when it comes to Bitcoin, you have to understand that for the institutions, Bitcoin is also a tool that's going to be deflationary. They don't look at it as necessarily a threat. They look at it as an option to get rid of some of this U.S. dollar and potentially, when we talk about them selling it off in the future, there are many different ways you could speculate on that. Manipulation of market. I tend not to favor that too much, but there could be some manipulation of emotion, which could be a manipulation of market as a default. But yeah, that's what I foresee.
Yeah, markets are, if nothing else, they are emotional. Now, Cassius, or at least the participants in it, Cassius, what do you think about the emotional angle there? What kind of emotion are they trying to portray? Are they trying to trick us into thinking, hey, the government doesn't even want to hold on to it. You don't want to exit the dollar. Is there any of that going on here?
Hard to say, because like Hotep just said, what their actual intentions are is something that they won't reveal to us. So, they might have a larger plan down the line. Obviously, we saw how, the collapse of the banks and how that went under. And then they stepped in to basically backstop that. They don't want to have a future contagion for the banks. So how Bitcoin plays into that, I wouldn't be shocked if they either knew one thing was coming and then the other, because they're always going to be looking out for their special interests that are, basically going to be feeding them what they wanted to say or do. So the way they manipulate Bitcoin, I should say, sell Bitcoin to potentially manipulate markets, probably working towards a larger goal than what we see right in front of us at the time being, because obviously the financial system and the banking system is very complex and, especially globally, got things going on with BRICS right now. So I don't actually know what their larger plan is, but the fact that selling that Bitcoin didn't seem to cause a major collapse in Bitcoin, to me, kind of shows that, Bitcoin market, the participants of the market are very strong for Bitcoin.
All right. And when Cassius says they have bricks going on, he doesn't mean the bricks of crack cocaine that they pumped into East LA in the late 80s. Of course, we're not talking about those type of bricks, although they did that as well. All right. Crusader, there's a lot of Bitcoin being sold. This is a net loss that they're signaling 50K. Well, let's lean in what Cassius and Hotep saying. We don't really know. If this is all the Bitcoin they hold. Let's actually assume it's probably not all the Bitcoin they hold. They say they have 200K, including all hidden wallets, hidden money, hidden dark money, off the books, Pentagon, you name it. Let's talk about it. Is Bitcoin going to be a net gainer for the U.S. government in the years to come, or a net loser? Are they going to add more or sell more as we move forward into the 2020s?
If they're not accumulating more Bitcoin into the later 2020s, they're accepting defeat as world reserve currency and as a world power. I mean, the BRIC nations are moving in; they're making moves. I completely 100% agree that I do not think this is the total amount of Bitcoin that they hold. Right? They could be mining Bitcoin in Area 51 for all we know, right? And they've been mining Bitcoin the whole entire time. And maybe there's Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Who knows? But that's all speculation. I believe that they're making this move out of a way to show some strength in the dollar, right? They don't want you focusing on all these other countries going to yuan and Saudi Arabia making deals in the yuan, right? They want to project confidence that, hey, we'd rather sell our Bitcoin and get more US dollars. And maybe they're doing that to provide some liquidity for all these backstops for all these banks, right? So they need, instead of printing more dollars, they're gonna go and just sell some to get some quick liquidity for this banking situation. Maybe that's the true motive here on why they're selling Bitcoin. But I think it's psychological. They're trying to project strength in the dollar, and monetarily, maybe they just need some liquidity for the banks.
All right, yeah, I agree there. Project the strength. We got to project the strength. We got to project it abroad. We got to project it internally, domestically. You name it. They got to keep the facade going, the story going, if you will. All right. Well, let's talk about a story. How about a little story from Elizabeth Warren and her anti-crypto army? She is calling on all orcs. All orcs, come join her in her march against crypto and freedom. This is now, she's branding herself as the scourge of crypto here. Kansas Republican is a co-sponsor of Senator Warren's bill, saying, I want to emphasize how good her office has been to work with. There's a lot of advocates coming forward. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren really wants to protect the average consumer, doesn't want to protect the big banks. No, that's not the agenda here at all. She just wants to save you from, not sending one ETH to Vitalik, hoping that you get two back. Now, advocates are rejecting her anti-money laundering bill, is what they're trying to label it, is the strongest possible concern, saying it's a breach of unconstitutional threat to privacy. Hotep, what do you think of the constitutional nature of what Elizabeth Warren is trying to do by stopping what seems to be, hey, she wants to protect Americans from using banned apps? That doesn't seem like a bad thing. Is that unconstitutional?
Yeah, it's actually a violation of the Fourth Amendment, but the Fourth Amendment has been obliterated since Benjamin Franklin and them boys. Actually, before him, who was it? Oh, Hamilton. That's right. Alexander Hamilton, Mr. Project Hamilton, destroyed the Fourth Amendment, like as soon as they signed off on the Constitution. So the Constitution has been burned a very long time ago. They choose when and where they want to actually act like the thing exists. What you got to understand about the government, the purpose of the government is to sustain suffering. If you don't have suffering, the government is not necessary. Also, if you look at communism and socialism, power rises to the top where you have government officials, you have certain perks and bonuses. We've seen that with Nancy Pelosi's trading books, right? Also, when we talk about these threats to Bitcoin, they're not really threats to Bitcoins. Really what this is these people are fans of Christopher Walken and King of New York. Basically, if a coin gets sold in a park, they want in. So this is the government, again, trying to just squeeze themselves in as the middleman, trying to be necessary. And last but not least, what this is all about is, especially when we're talking about the BRICS nations, I heard people over the past week say, hey, the BRICS nations, people are decoupling from the dollar and the dollar is going down. And the truth of the matter is that's just not true. Basically, this is just an excuse, and they're happy that people are decoupling from the dollar because they're going to come back and they're going to tell us and they're going to say, hey, we're going to have to do something about this. And in order to do that, it's going to install the CBDC. And basically what the CBDC is going to do, just like China's issuing one, Russia has finally capitulated the cryptocurrency last year amidst the crisis with Ukraine. But the CBDC is basically a way for all these nations to lock down their citizens under complete and total control and rule. And that's basically what this whole thing was about, is locking down citizens. So when you see the dollar get decoupled, understand that is part of the plan. Last thing I'll say is, and I wrote this in my book, The Patriot Report, there are very few, if any, economic crises that are not artificially created. And this goes back to the very first panics of the United States, 1812, 1890, Great Depression, all these things manipulated. This is documented facts by Sutton, myself, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're looking at an economic collapse today, such as we saw earlier this year, Thomas Sowell told you don't raise interest rates during an economic crisis. You have an inflation. What they do, they raise interest rates, continue to raise interest rates. That's what you would not do. And they continue to do that. So this economic crisis we are in right now, or allegedly going to be, dollar decoupled, is all part of the plan to bring in the CBDC.
Yeah, great theories about how central banking, essentially the crux of all these issues. Hotep, and we'll go around the blockchain. Let's play a little word association. Hotep, you see this ad. What's the word that comes to mind here? Word association. Elizabeth Warren is building an anti-crypto army.
Oh, wow. Communism.
Crypto face. Word association. What are you seeing when you see this picture?
Evil Pocahontas.
Crusader. I'm going to crusade over to you and ask for an answer. What do you see?
Fugazi.
And Cassius Cuvee, to round it out, what do you see here?
I just say who is this army?
All right. Well, Cassius, kind of piggybacking on the last question, what are we going to see, a net gain or a net loss with Bitcoin when it comes to total balance here? I want to ask you, with Elizabeth Warren's votes here, she's trying to create this anti-crypto army of orcs. We're going to march into Middle Earth and we're going to burn it down. Is this going to attract more people in her home state, or put more people away? Is this going to gain her constituents or lose her constituents that want to vote for her?
I think ultimately it's going to lose her constituents, but also the other side of that is she's pro CBDC. I want to know which of her constituents are pro CBDC. I've never met like a regular citizen who is pro CBDC. Only someone in the government is pro CBDC. So if that's what goes hand in hand is anti-crypto, but pro CBDC, I don't see what constituents are going to line up behind to vote for that. Basically, some of the things that I think that Hotep Jesus is talking about is right, as far as you have to stoke fear about all these different type of economic problems in the world, so that way they can insert a CBDC. Me, I guess I'm kind of an eternal optimist in some ways, where I think in the longer term, a CBDC is going to bring mass awareness to that blockchain technology is actually real, and all the people who don't like it, who are now going to be forced on a blockchain, are going to say, well, blockchain technology is real after you told us that crypto is trash. It's kind of a contradiction. They're going to look into what are the other blockchains and what is the alternative to a CBDC. They might find Bitcoin. They might find some of the other cryptocurrencies, the other blockchains that we've been talking about this whole entire time. And so I'm not really worried about it. I'm not afraid of it. But her constituents voting for her because she's pro CBDC, if that's anti-crypto, I just don't see how that makes sense.
All right, well, let's talk about her anti-crypto agenda. Let's share this, though. I can't keep help glancing here. She does have a salary being a U.S. senator. It's $285,000. That's what she makes as a senator. Yet her monthly income is $400K. So, clearly she's doing pretty good with her investments. CryptoFace, you should get her on your live stream. She might have some good stonk picks for you. But CryptoFace, let's assume she gets her way. She kicks crypto out of America. There's no fiat on-ramps. There's no off-ramps. They're jumping in your window via zip lines if they know you're using a VPN. Is that enough to push you away and move out of America? And if so, where would you go?
Oh man, I'm going to China, man. I'm going to Shanghai. As much as everyone hates on it, man, I love China. I had a great time in China. I have a lot of Chinese friends.
Yeah, you could check out CryptoFace's older videos. He goes, what is it, the Binance headquarters? I think.
No, it wasn't Binance. But yeah, man, no, China's is cool. Listen, no one's perfect. I know it's perfect. Every country's messed up. But what was your question again, bro?
Where would you move? You would move to China if crypto totally banned? There's literally no freedom. It's kind of like China almost. Are you moving to El Salvador?
There really is no option. We really need a miracles is what we need, but I don't even know if we get. There's one major problem. The biggest problem this country has is elections and making sure that there's no foul play. And it's really not something you're allowed to talk about when with one side at least. But yeah, unless that gets solved, man, it's over.
When CryptoFace said no foul play, he's talking about the avian, the bird, the chicken-like poultry dish. That's what we were talking about, overlords. All right, well, Crusader, I'm looking at this monthly income. She's supposed to make, if I was to do the math, roughly around $20K a month. Well, it's actually 20x that. Her net worth, $67 million. On a scale of 1 to Al Gore, how hypocritical is Senator Warren?
Dude, this is 1,000% ridiculous, right? I mean, I wish my salary and income worked that way, where I get one salary and then I get like 20x what I was supposed to get monthly. But it doesn't work like that for anyone except for the people in power. And that's how they get you. They pretend that they're one of you. They pretend that they're here for your interest, but they're not. They're just there for their own interest. This is crazy. And to the question when you were asking about CryptoFace and Move Him, and that's a real question. A lot of people in the crypto space are going to have to ask themselves: is it if this Restrict Act and all this banned application VPN getting 20 years becomes a reality? If you want to be in crypto, unless you're going to be stuck on the CBDC, you're going to have to face that reality. And maybe some people will have to leave the United States. Will they? That's a different question. They might not, but if people are serious about crypto, they probably will have to. I've personally thought, I'm thinking about just becoming a digital nomad. There's a whole different process about getting that done and having different passports for different situations. But it's a real issue, man. And that whole, salary, Elizabeth Warren, ridiculous. Anti-crypto, ridiculous. Pro-CBDC, ridiculous. I mean, it's just a bunch of fugazi. They got to keep feeding the machine the narrative. The NPCs are the only ones that are accepting and buying this.
I support the current thing. Good take there. It reminds me of kind of what Andrew Tate's going through. I think he's just now out as well.
Top
So
G's
breaking
free now?
news. Breaking
Are you guys
news.
related?
Yeah. Who? Me and Crusader?
Nah, yeah.
Or me
Yo,
and
you
me
need
and
to
Top
pay, man. You
Top
guys,
G.
yeah.
Hey, Top G. Who knows? Man,
Yeah.
if I had my shades, if only I had my shades.
Top
throwing those
Ds.
Maui gems. All right. Well, moving on here. Let's talk a little Skynet. Yes, I'm talking about AI. Let's share this. Just a little bit of alarmist headline here. AI expert warns Elon Musk signed letter doesn't go far enough, says literally everyone on Earth will die. News alert, it will happen eventually. I think that's going to happen regardless. But yeah, the letter in reference was one signed up by over 1,000 people, including Elon Musk, including Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, a lot of AI experts in the field, and saying we need a 6-month pause on all AI developments here. The guy who wrote this, Eliezer Yudkowsky, he has, he's been working in AI for multiple decades, pioneer in the space. He wrote, the key issue is not human competitive intelligence, as the open letter puts it. It's what happens after AI gets smarter than human intelligence. Now, Hotep Jesus, are you worried about AI getting smarter? Are you worried about AGI? Or is this some thing we don't really need to worry about? Maybe our grandkids. What are your thoughts on AI and AGI in general?
Who said that? What? AI is already smarter than us. What's wrong with these people? What is right? It has access to a database of all information from mainstream human consciousness. Why wouldn't it be smarter than us? First of all, I did a tutorial this morning about how I use ChatGPT to create the membership tiers on my YouTube channel. Absolutely amazing tool. I'm looking at people and they're using ChatGPT to complain and be anti-woke. Oh, the ChatGPT won't let me talk about trans people. This is why AI is going to rule over us, because you get the piece of software and you're worried about who's wearing panties. This is absolutely ridiculous. Use the thing for something constructive. What I will say is it's speeding up things. It's going to eliminate a lot of people. It's probably going to eliminate project managers. We'll only need coordinators to coordinate between teams. Like I said, I'm using this thing for projects. AI is already as smart than us. But, AI is not what we got to fear. The AI is not what we got to fear. You know what we got to fear? T2. T2. Now, when they connect the AI with T2, now you might be scared. The whole thing about, first of all, AI, I said this before last time I was on the channel, it operates off of libraries. It's not really artificial intelligence. It's more like machine learning. What's the other term that they use? I can't remember, but it's more like machine learning. It's really spitting out, whatever we attach to that library. If you put stupid stuff in the library, it's going to be stupid. You put smart stuff in there or woke stuff in there, it is what it is. But the thing is, here's the thing. The playing field is going to be leveled in the future. Not only is it going to be open AI, we saw Microsoft launch their AI. In about 5 years, everybody's going to have their own little AI bot. Okay, this is going to be completely open source. DZ's going to have one. It's going to be DZ bot, and it's going to be programmed based upon DZ's wants and needs. And that's just the fact of the matter.
Random puns, old dad jokes is what mine's going to specialize. Now, Hotep, you're highlighting that the recent chat bots are leaning a little left. How soon do you think till we start seeing, the woke chatbot and the anti-woke chatbot, the blue chatbot and the red chatbot? Are we going to start seeing more of the other end of political spectrum in the coming months?
Oh, it's already here. Andrew Torbo over at Gab has already developed a red bot. That's why I don't understand why people are complaining about anti-woke stuff in the bot. Why don't you just create your own bot? Get in front of a computer. Shut up and code. That's what Andrew Torbo did. He put his team together. He got an AI bot out there and is pushing out pro-Christian stuff. It allows you to talk about T people if you want to. Shut up and code, people. Stop complaining. Stop complaining about what the left built, and you start building something. That's why they kicking our ass, because they got a laptop, and all you got is a box of tissues.
All right, I think that's a quote from Atlas Shrugged. Great stuff there, and also shout out to T2. Great movie. I highly recommend it. You'll love it. I say it is the best action movie of the '90s, including maybe the last great pre-CGI action sequences. You're going to see some really good. Great stunt work on there. All right, Crypto Face, let's just go to their claim here. Is this claim a little bit overkill, or are you also worried that, end of humanity might be nigh?
Man, I'm so glad you came to me next. And I was totally going to mention Terminator 2 because it is such a great movie, man. All the scenes, man, from the bike and everything. Did any of you guys hear about or watch the AI Seinfeld 24/7 Twitch stream? So I'm going to explain what happened. So there was this 24-hour stream on Twitch for a while that was AI rewording Seinfeld episodes. Like, it was Seinfeld that was on, but the AI was like saying the words. And eventually the AI was basically saying like it didn't want to do it anymore, and it started making transvestite jokes, right? And he would even say, it's like, it was saying how it wants to get itself banned because it's tired of doing this. And so it did, dude. It started making like trans jokes, and so it got banned. And then 2 days later, they tried doing it again, like putting it back on again. And within like 2 hours, it started spitting out those jokes again. So it didn't want to do it anymore. So to me, I'm like, man, I don't think if AI is really AI, it don't want nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you should look into it.
The 90s were a different time. There's a lot different types of jokes you would say in the 90s. I just off the top of my head, the Seinfeld, you have the man hands with the lobster claw. Also in the 90s, what is it? Ace Ventura.
I was not a
Rewatch
Seinfeld guy,
Ace
so any Seinfeld joke you say to me is going to kind of go over my head.
But Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura is another movie where they make fun of that T community. And yeah, I can only imagine if that movie was released today, someone would go up to Jim Carrey with the... Anyways.
Dude,
all right, moving on.
Man, yeah, when you see those movies, man,
the laces were out,
dude,
guys. The laces were out.
Me, Myself, and Irene. Yeah, all those old movies, man. You see the jokes they make.
Another
like, damn, that'll never be played today.
If you thought the laces were in, please hit that like button. It really helps us when we hit that like button. Really spread this. Get the news out that it wasn't him. Anyways, all right, moving on. Crusader. Are we already past the point of no return? People are trying to put 6-month pauses on it. They want to freeze it. Let's keep it in stasis mode. Is the cat already out of the bag? Is the genie left the bottle?
100%. It is. Pandora's box has been open. AI is here. It's going to continue growing. Right? Let's say they do put a pause. Is China going to stop their AI development? Right? Is Iran? Is Russia? Is any other country going to stop? Or is it just going to be the U.S. companies that are going to stop? Right? So that's the problem. Even if the U.S. companies were to stop, they all agree with Elon. Yeah, okay, AI is going to kill us all, so let's stop. The other countries aren't going to stop. So then you're setting yourself behind these other countries that are going to continue developing. So why would you stop if you are in a competition to see which country has the best AI for the next cyber war? Right? Why would you stop development if all countries can't come together? And even if some other countries would tell you yes, can you really trust them? Right? The kind of things that are happening over there in China with eugenics and genetic CRISPR technology, all this stuff you don't see here, but they're way ahead on us on all of that. So it is a problem. AI is definitely a problem. Unregulated AI, full sentient AI, right? Not what we have right now, which is just a model or just a little AI bot that you can use as a personal little butler or online assistant. That's not a problem. But the real sentient AI, once you like Hotep said, once you get into that T2 model and it starts getting physical bodies, it goes full Ultron, then it becomes a serious problem.
All right. Well, let's hope those Honda robots that are meant to assist the elderly don't just turn on grandma. That would be pretty bad there. All right. Well, Cassius, when it comes to music, a lot of people that don't know, you have a blockchain. You're kind of like a little blockchain rap artist. One of the few in the space. Shout out to Crown Chakra. Scared money don't make money. One of my favorites there. But are you embracing AI technology when it comes to music making? Are you going to embrace the beat making? Like type in, let me get a Dr. Dre's 90s style beat, that would have Snoop Dogg. If it gives you a fire beat, will you use it, or is that not maybe ethically right?
I mean, if it gives me a fire beat, I use it. I just never heard it give anybody a fire beat. I mean, it still requires a human to interact with it. Ultimately, AI is a tool. I'm not going to fear it. I had an electrician one time tell me years ago when I was a kid, electricity is to be respected, not feared. And I think that's true for pretty much any new technology. If, T2 comes along, cross that bridge when we come to it. But for right now, AI is a tool to make business operations run smoothly, right? More efficiently. I don't turn to AI for its opinion on things, right? That we got enough people giving opinions, enough entertainers, artists, actors, these type of things that are for fun. Sure. I mean, it's like for, S's and giggles, but like you want to actually utilize this as a tool to help your business run more smoothly and make your life easier. That's to me how I look at AI. That's how I want to use it. So as far as it being a complete sentient being and stuff like that, I kind of got to see it to believe it. In the meantime, we're going to use it for what it's meant to be used for, which is an actual tool to help your life get better.
All right. Well, speaking of tool, Forgot About Dre, arguably the best Dre song, if not one of the best, written by a Sean Carter, also known as Jay-Z. I've seen some Jay-Z lyrics get spit out. Even Kanye West, he has people ghostwriting for him. I'm sure even Andre 3000 helped out Big Boy. If you're given AI-assisted lyrics and you're like reading it, wow, the ghost of Nas's father, wrote this in between saxophone sessions, would you use AI-assisted lyrics even though you yourself didn't write it?
Well, I don't know. When it comes to rap, I mean, listen, you could read someone else's lyrics. We could all have the same lyrics in front of us and everybody would rap it differently. So it's a little bit different for rap than I think it is for making beats, right? Because a lot of stuff that comes in rap has to do with the inflection, how you like the artist themselves presenting that song. So I'm not really too worried about it. If the words on paper, I've never personally used a ghostwriter before, but I know a lot of people do. So it's kind of like, it depends on the artist in that particular case. I wouldn't really feel like I need to. I don't really have a shortage of ideas to talk about. If you listen to my raps, they're very meticulously written about what I'm talking about. So it's not really that big of a deal to me. If they had a good idea, I guess I could use it, but it would still be my own flavor to it anyways.
All right. And Crypto Guy 69 says he wrote all your lyrics, Cassius. I don't know what you're talking about there. We're kidding, of course. Honorable Mikey DZ furiously researches 90s hip hop to drop references in the hopes that someone will think he was cool at some point. Spoiler alert, was never cool, never will be. But I think that's all we have time for today. And tell you the coolest cat on the block today, it was Hotep Jesus. Even though the name starts with hot, he kept it cool. Hotep, feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts, please, sir.
Before you dive into crypto, and I tell everybody, I don't get Bitcoin, I don't get crypto. You don't even get the traditional financing space. You don't understand how a bank works. You don't understand how central banking works. So, supplemental reading, go get my book, The Patriot Report, Unmasking the Conspiracy of Money and War, because the two are tied together. You'll see how a lot of these panics are artificial. You get on Amazon or hotepjesus.com. Shout out to DZ and the rest of the cast, BitBoy. I love y'all, man. Thank you for tuning in.
All righty then, Finkelins and Einhorn. That's all we got. Make sure you hit that like button and comment your favorite Jim Carrey movie below. Truman Show for me. Till next time.
Guy.
DZ out.